What is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. So this is going to be another, Edward Anderson talk. I won't say necessarily Edward Andersonism, but an Edward Anderson talk. So I want to talk to you. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the thumbnail. I want to talk to y'all about black men politicking with other black men. There's a big problem with black men not knowing how to politic with other black men. Somehow we tend to know how to act with other groups of men, but we don't know how to act when it comes to each other. And that's a big issue. I don't care how hyper individualistic you are. I don't care if you're Robert Smith. At the end of the day, if you're an island unto yourself, that there is a certain power in being able to work in groups. Humans evolved in working in groups, working in teams. This is one of the main kind of things that separates us from the animal kingdom, and creating complex communities and cultures and stuff like that. And one of the reasons why I talk about making it expensive to mess with black men, to screw with us, because we always want to be the whipping boy. We are always kind of the people that's gotta, basically we are the sin eaters of this American society. And one of the reasons why we are that as easily as we are is because there is no group consequences for people messing with us. There is none. And this is even with our own women. Dudes talk about protecting women. How can you protect women when you can't even protect yourself as a group?
Now listen! That's called my bars. You know nothing about that.
And we have this thing where we are not in control of our group dynamic. And that fundamentally starts with black men creating culture around other black men and being able to work with different types of black men, different groups of black men, whether it's young dudes, old dudes, street dudes, square dudes or suburban dudes, blue collar dudes, white collar dudes, enterprising dudes versus more job oriented dudes, like just different stuff, light skinned dudes with dark skin. You get what I'm saying, man. And us being able to politic with each other, be very clear with each other is paramount in black men developing as a group and black men developing individually.
Knowledge.
Think and Grow Rich, the classic book, talks about your ability to how you deal with people. Your ability to work with people is your greatest. Your people, skills are going to be one of your greatest assets and one of your greatest indicators of if you're going to be success or not, even more so than your education. And the book How to Win Friends and Influence People is kind of like a specific book on that, which is a classic in and of itself, and it's a book I definitely recommend you get. I definitely recommend you get Think and Grow Rich. They got so many different versions now, black version. Shout out to Russell Brunson for kind of putting a lot of that together. Book is very old, very good. Again, it is very important. And one thing that I see with other groups of men, and other groups of men are not always, like, this is not to say everybody's kumbaya. That's not how it works. But other groups of men know how to put the sword down and know how to basically come together if they have a greater threat. Black men are one of the only groups of men that will use other groups of men in order to try to check a dude. So if it's a dude you can't get out on your own, you all will use white men or other groups of men to try to triangulate a situation, gets that dude hemmed up. Other groups of men don't typically do that. That's something unique to black men, and that's a unique gynocentric behavior that black men really need to lose, because it's born out of hating on people and jealousy. That's really what that is. And ultimately, even the dudes that become very strong individuals, because they lack a group to basically, like, take Robert Smith, for example. Robert Smith is the second richest black person in the United States. And he's worth $7 billion, but he's being watched because between him and the other guy, it's only two of y'all that's like at that level. So they're watching everything you do. So when they get a certain amount of black, like, they have a lot of political power, potential political power that comes with that type of money. And with you being black, and having black children, because I keep on blanking. I believe his name is David, the richest dude, and he's like 8 or 9. I'll put that stuff on the picture so you can see it. And he does have a black woman, and Robert Smith is with a white woman now, but he was with a black chick. So his kids are black, right? His kids are more black than they are not, so that creates political power. Like, that creates massive amounts of political power. I mean, you see what Donald Trump was able to do, and Donald Trump is worth nowhere near the kind of money that Robert Smith David is. And so they're watching him for that reason, because there's things that he could just go ahead and get done. And it's not just about him spending the money himself. It's about, like, because remember, his wealth is his personal wealth. We're not even talking about what his company can do, right? And so that creates a political threat, even on a global scale, when it comes to the black population in the United States of America. And so he's being watched. And that's why he got that accounting error, tinfoil hat, where he had like a $3 million tax issue. Like, he don't have the money to pay for it. They was about to put him on a Will Smith plan. My point is, because black men are not united as a group in a way we need to be, with 6 million strong, as far as adults alone, then that makes dudes that stand out like that very vulnerable. So how they move, they can't move as openly as they otherwise might. Also, not being able to be worked with as a group makes it so we can't really advocate for our own stuff. This is part of the mission of what the actual manosphere actually is, to be honest. This is just something that's not talked about a lot. This is one of the things I'm very passionate about, which is why I've made these videos for as long as I've made them, to create clarity so we can then find the assets in ourselves. One of the things that's been a traditional thing in this channel is there is nothing that black men need to know that they can't find another black man to tell it to them, and that's as good, if not better, than anybody else. And that's something we got to really be clear with. And as I'm 38 years old, I'm T-minus 23 months before. I'm not going to do a countdown like that. So I turn 40. I'm the unk. I'm potentially getting in I'm the unk status. And so with these young dudes, and these dudes are dealing with stuff even we didn't have to deal with, because all the BS is set now. So politicking with your own group has never been more important. Now, millennials have a better ability to do that than the Xers do. But, and I would argue we kind of do it a little bit better than the Zillennials as well, but the Zillennials still have time. So understand that it is very important to know how to work with other black men as a group. It is very important to be able to work with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 black men and fire teams to accomplish a goal. Whether it's a goal when it comes to a business goal, whether it's a political goal, whether it's whatever. The more you can, obviously the higher amount of black men you have, numbers you're dealing with, the more complicated the politics can kind of become. But then again, the more you can leverage more people for a task that we agree on, the more leverage that we can get done. And a lot of dudes have traditionally, traditionally gotten away from that, or kind of pawn that off in favor of individualistic power. And individualistic power can only take you so far. And this is why things like cooning happens, because this is why simping happens, because simping is pretty much because you're basically catering to women as a block economically that you can leverage. So this is where the pandering and simping comes from. And then you're cooning by catering to white people as a block by which you can leverage. And so you're basically a guest in somebody else's situation rather than leveraging your own people. Now, granted, you should be trying to leverage everybody, but your own people, you can get the most mileage out of. So again, I may do series of videos on the different dynamics, like what I said earlier in the video, like the black consumer versus the black business owner, dudes that get women versus dudes that supposedly don't. Like, these things have their own individual videos that kind of warrant their own playlist. But yeah, I didn't want to make this like a complete teaching thing. This is kind of a primer to let you know it's important and some of the whys behind it's important. And then we'll get into more details. I plan on doing like PowerPoints where I do, like really cool PowerPoints, not just basic ones, where we really go into this and do some deep dives into these things. But those will be more like Patreon type videos. So let me know what you think. Do you think, black men learning to work together is important? Do you think, is there any dynamic between black men, like I said, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, men at work versus men that are more enterprising, those things? Is there any dynamics that I missed? If there are, please put them in the comment section below. You can argue men that are more right wing versus more left wing, although most black men are center right. So manosphere, red pill versus blue pill, or red pill versus purple pill, because blue pill people are pretty much at a loss because they'll tell you ain't nothing going on. So what are some of the dynamics that I mentioned that I haven't mentioned? If you all want to elaborate and comment more into some of the dimensions and your own personal experience with them, the ones that I've talked about, and do you think this is an important topic? Do you want to see more videos on this and in these individual dynamics? And as always, if you like more of these types of videos where I do more kind of Edward talks and education videos versus piggybacking it, because some of these videos I will start piggybacking it off of the more the trending news that I do, and this is in the lesson that I do, you know, because I try to do the kind of who, what, when, where, why, the angle, the point, and then and like I said, a lesson in behind it, which kind of takes the principles that we talk about, the Edward principles, and these are things just that I'm saying, I'm branding it that way, and then apply it to some of these situations that you see in real time. Like, for example, I just did a video with the Travis Hunter situation. What you see is black men as a group are basically saying, look, dude, you need to watch that chick. Now, you want to be with her, fine. Don't get her pregnant. This goofy stuff you talk about where you going to marry her as soon as you get your NFL contract. I mean, y'all are young. You notice how the women are very big on telling these women, you're young. You're not, why rush? Same with you. So, anyway, black male media is another example of black men working together and the power with that. But with that being said, make sure y'all check in with a like, check out with a comment. Make sure y'all subscribe as well if you're new. I appreciate the new subscribers. You know, definitely hit me up on my lives because our lives are raw. But these shorts are about to start coming in furiously. I'm really going to try to start popping out like 2 or 3 shorts a day. You know, also make sure y'all check out my secondary channel, my backup channel, because that is going to be mainly a shorts channel. So understand that channel's coming. So if y'all not sub, I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subs on that as well. So I'll be linking all of that in the description. Make sure y'all check out Patreon. I also have a Discord that I'm about to start really, you know, bringing people in. And the Discord is popping. We talk about a lot of stuff. It's a little bit more freer than what I can say on YouTube. So we do live streams. Shout out to y'all to be doing live streams in there as well. You know, sometimes they'll just fire it off. So with that being said, you know, this is Edward signing off. Peace.